I think coming up with a concept as a creator or as a brand should be considered an extreme thing that you do. Like you should be like raising the flag. It's like, guys, we're about to do something crazy. We're gonna come up with a new idea. Like I feel like what you should almost always do is say, this ad format is working for this other brand. And it doesn't have to be a direct competitor. It's like, okay, what are they doing? And like, let's recreate that for my brand. And I think you can literally do this with Gemini.
You can have the best AI in the world that's like one-to-one with reality. If you don't know how to create an engaging video, you're cooked.
Actually, how did you guys land on the UGC angle that works? Because we were able to find one that works, get users on the platform, to get like that day 7 positive ROAS. It's the dream,
bro.
But
it was like we tried so many different things, and I remember seeing.
Hey, I'm Rahul. I'm the founder of Valid. We do AI ads, and this is Latana.
Yeah, lots founder of Grade. We help companies pay a lot of people based on performance.
And we actually both build companies that help you acquire users if you're a mobile app, but through completely different mechanisms. At Valid, we don't want to talk to creators. We help you use ads, and then our videos that we make, we actually use AI creators. But both methods work.
Yeah, I think Valid hates human beings. But I'm joking. So we actually used to be customers of yours.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah. So like we originally built ProScreen, which basically was like Opal, screen time app, but it blocked human beings from using Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, all the kind of distracting social media apps. And then they had to pray to lock it. And I think at the time we would like I think we would have the first screen time religion app.
Yeah.
At the time.
Started a trend.
Yeah. And now there's like 100 of them.
Yeah.
For every religion under the sun. And then like we found like a UGC angle that was interesting, that kind of worked UGC wise. So it was like an actual person, it wasn't AI. And we needed someone to kind of essentially scale it until we essentially exited through that.
Yeah. Actually, how did you guys land on the UGC angle that works? Because we were able to find one that works, get users on the platform, and get like that day 7 positive ROAS. It's the dream,
bro.
But
it was like we tried so many different things, and I remember seeing, I think it was a Shopify item, and it was like a ring. Again, I'm not Muslim, but like I guess there's something where you have to pray a certain amount of days or something itself, and it was a ring that reminded you like it buzzed, but it was like a Shopify dropshipping thing, and they used that kind of same format itself. So I was just like, oh, okay, cool. Let me just see if that kind of format kind of works and see what happens, and it did. Right. So it wasn't something like we invented like completely brand new. It's hopefully I think it's something that already worked, and then we were like, okay, cool, let's just adapt it. To what we already have now.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, if you ever want to know a marketing angle that works, follow the dropshippers. They like ruthlessly will follow whatever works. Like no ethics, but effective.
I think they were basically like the first to be using meta ads, so like they already know like the psychology of human beings. That's why like even when AI came out, I was just my first, well not AI, but AI videos start getting good. I was like the first people that are gonna get cooked is like Facebook mums, bro. Facebook mums are gonna get cooked because they're gonna believe anything.
It's wild. Like I can fully trick my parents and over videos that are real or not real. It's also interesting. So we've been running ads for like a couple of years, and there was a period of time where we'd have all these like tech bros come to us and like, I got this AI video, and it looked terrible. And they're like, it cost me it's like this cost me $3. I could go to creator, it cost me $300. But then as soon as you turn the ad spend on, it's like, it costs like $50 to acquire a user with your $3 ad versus $10 with this $300 ad. But like lately, you're actually, I think AI ads are working better because in a lot of cases, you're able to like put them in more interesting scenarios, to make them more attractive, like more, it's like more engaging content. But then it's still like, I think a very small number of people are able to use it compared to creators because like you still need to make content that people care about, which is what creators are really good at.
Exactly. And I think that's the key thing I've always kind of like said, which is around like you still need to have creativity. So I think a lot of people kind of like, hey, AI is here. We can create AI videos at scale. This is amazing. Try many things at the same time. But like, if you don't know how to be creative or how to like basically get your user to convert or care about this video, no matter how good AI is, you can have the best AI in the world that's like one-to-one with reality. if you don't know how to create an engaging video, you're cooked basically.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's the thing with like iPhone, right? I have this camera. Like I've seen this shot on iPhone commercials, and then I see what's on my camera roll. Very, very different. Actually, on the concept of coming up with ideas and creativity, how are you coming up? Like, how are your creators coming up with concepts and things to do?
Yeah, I think the creators, I think the big mistake that people tend to make is that they will just give them free roam completely and just be
Yeah,
like, hey, just do whatever you just
yeah. I've
make,
never seen this go well.
just make my app go viral.
Yeah,
That's kind of it. And I think what the issue is that creators are not necessarily incentivized for that, which is again, shameless plug. It's kind of like where we come in when it comes like if you pay someone based on performance, now they want to get good content because that good content is going to get views.
yeah. Pay for performance. What is that? What does that mean?
Yeah, so essentially, it's like how we kind of see generally is that people nowadays are being paid for like that amount of hours that they've worked itself,
Hmm.
and it's kind of like let's say in a month, let's say two pay periods, like get paid every 2 weeks. If you do a lot of hard work in the first 2 weeks, you get paid X amount. Let's call it $5,000.
Yeah,
If you slack off for the other 2 weeks, you still get paid $5,000 because it's like apparently you've worked for the full hours. So our whole kind of thesis is like, can we create performance for payroll or payroll for performance itself,
yeah,
where we actually pay people at least some of their compensation based on performance. So again, bring the whole influencer UGC thing. With influencers, normally would have been like, oh, 5K up front. It's a gamble.
yeah,
Is it going to perform? I don't know itself. Or you can go the UGC route and pay them based on performance and actually say, oh, you know what? For every 1,000 views you get me, I'm going to give you $3 itself.
yeah.
So now the creator feels like, oh, actually, if I get like a banging video, I can actually make a couple $1,000s from this, so they can be more incentivized there.
Yeah, yeah. It's kind of interesting. So there's like we have like completely opposite tracks seemingly, like your creators, us ads.
Yeah.
But actually there's so many parallels, right? Like the model we're moving to for creative that we produce is we actually don't want to charge you like per video.
Mhm.
We want to say like we'll charge you a pretty minimal amount per video,
Mhm.
enough to like motivate you to stay in comms with us
Yeah.
and like cover some base level costs. But then we'll actually produce most of it at risk, and then it's just on ad spend. And it's like the
Mhm.
same thing with creators, right? Like why like it's like why gamble on either side for them like maybe they make you a video and then it does insanely well and they get comped a flat rate, like that's not fair.
Yeah, yeah,
But then or they make you a video and it's terrible and like now you paid for this video and you can't do anything with it, that's not fair.
yeah,
So
yeah,
it's like
yeah, yeah,
tying the outcomes is like I just don't see why we'll ever stop doing that, and
yeah,
we should actually just do more of it.
yeah, yeah,
It's like what's really cool is now that you can actually measure performance so accurately, like on organic it's somewhat hard, like you have to go on views, which is a proxy.
yeah,
On
yeah.
paid you do get the benefit of like a more direct measurement,
Mhm.
but you have this metric that you can actually like use to judge performance.
Mhm.
And I really like that it's actually the modern day uses that metric. I think that the days of like the traditional agency world, the traditional creator world, where it's like I'm going to charge you this flat rate
Mhm.
just to do something, are
Just,
gone.
just, just, just begin doing something.
Yeah, yeah,
Actually.
yeah. And then it's like cross your fingers, like maybe they did something good in the past, that's why they're going to charge more today.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah,
who knows
yeah.
if what they're going to do today or is good for you, or if they're, there's creator product fit as well, right? Like a good creator for a fitness app might be a bad creator for a price screen app, right?
Yeah, 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 exactly. And also, I've seen even in creators go outside of mobile apps as well. So actually,
Okay.
I met one. I think his name was K1. Yesterday he came to our place, and he's a content creator, but he does for specifically like web apps. So like
Hmm.
things like Replit will
Oh
probably
yeah, yeah.
probably do some Higgsfield, all those kind of things. It's like also I kind of like to see it expand from like the college student
Yeah.
and kind of meta that it tends to be.
I think in the past it used to be this job that was just for college students
Yeah.
because it like if you're paying per video, there's not that much willingness to pay.
Mm-hmm.
But if you structure the deal, which is like the way that everyone should structure it, where it's you're paid on upside.
Mm-hmm.
If you're a top 1% creator, you're paid like it, and
Yeah.
it's a very very lucrative job, and people
Yeah.
are gonna like keep working with you,
Mm-hmm.
and like that's suddenly it goes from being a like college side hustle to this is a very very like intentional, hard to replicate
Mm-hmm.
role that is sought after. Like there's less good creators and there's demand for them.
Exactly. Do you think people will be kind of pissed off at um, things going towards that kind of performance side of things? Because it
Yeah.
is going to expose the people who are not good at their job or are mediocre itself.
Yeah. I mean, I assume people get pissed off because it'll expose if you're
Yeah.
if you're doing mediocre work, it exposes that.
Hmm.
But does that mean we shouldn't do it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
totally true.
Going back to coming up with concepts, I actually have a take here.
Mhm.
I think coming up with a concept as a creator or as a brand should be like considered an extreme thing that you do. Like you should be like raising the flag. It's like, guys, we're about to do something crazy. We're gonna come up with a new idea. I feel like what you should almost always do is say, this ad format is working for this other brand. And it doesn't have to be a direct competitor. It's not
Yeah,
like Prey Screen, let's go to like Quran Screen and copy their
yeah.
ads. It's like, let's go to Opal or let's go to like even like Athletic Greens and like, okay, what are they doing? And like,
Mhm.
let's recreate that for my brand. And I think you can literally do this with Gemini. Just download an ad that you think works well, give it enough context about your brand, and say like, recreate this ad for my brand,
Mhm.
or like recreate a brief for a creator to produce this for my brand. And I think that is how everyone should be making content.
Yeah.
Like no one, like it's like you should consider, like you should have very high conviction that you are Steven Spielberg if you're gonna like roll out like this idea that like I'm gonna come up with a net new idea and it's gonna work.
Yeah. That's like two miracles stacked against each other.
Yeah.
At the end of the day. But yeah, that's so true because it's like, but when I do speak to mobile app founders, a lot of them feel like, oh, but like they've already seen this kind of ad before, so it's too saturated. And I'm just like, do you know how many people there are on this planet?
Yeah,
Like they're on the
yeah.
internet. And like, do you think they've even seen this content before ever? Probably not. And also that maybe that app is targeting a completely different audience. And even if they're targeting exactly the same audience, the penetration of that audience could be like 0.001%.
Yeah.
Like in terms of like that specific ad creative
Yeah.
itself. So I always tell people like, there's no point trying to reinvent the wheel, bro. Like at least at the beginning,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, even like if you have an ad that works and like let's say you do hit like saturating an ad is like the dream scenario because it means it was worth saturating.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
So if you're like, oh, like if I make this, it'll get saturated. Like, good, that's the goal. The goal is that you make something that has to get saturated or let people copy it. But if you come up with something net new, the hit rate is like optimistically 5 to 10%.
Yeah,
So you just have to assume, like, even if you copy, I think your hit rate goes to 20%.
yeah.
Still really bad, but for
Better,
like
better than
two to what is it, 2 to 5 times better.
exactly. Yeah. So like, tell us when they're on meta ads, for example.
Yeah.
No one likes to deal with that shit. Right?
Yeah.
So
I made
how
a
do
company
I?
on that.
So how do I know that? Let's say an ad isn't good. Are there like certain benchmarks that you're kind of like, okay, cool. If my cost per install is this, probably
Yeah.
something wrong with the creative on that side. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, this is a really interesting question, and I think it's actually so many people have nuked their ad accounts over optimizing for this. So we've done like actually like a bunch of studies to try and correlate like ROAS, which is like ultimately what the goal of any ad campaign or any ad creative is to like maximize ROAS with click-through rate, hook rate, hold rate, CPM, cost per install, cost per complete registration. The upper part of the funnel, like everything that happens within meta ads, so click-through rate, hold rate, cost per mil, hook rate, there's no correlation to ROAS. We have never found one. The closest thing we found is there tends to be a floor. So it's like if your click-through rate is really low, typically it'll never work.
Okay.
And if your hook rate's really low, it'll typically never work. But if you are like, hey, it's like I want to have like really good click-through rate. You're optimizing for the wrong thing. Now where there is correlation is if you're seeing a creative that has like really good CPI, that tends to correlate to ROAS, really good like cost per complete registration. So actually, this is the mistake I see a lot of people make where they only track install and did they pay me. You should be tracking the middle because then you can actually see very early on in a creative's life cycle. It's like because cost per purchase, that's your most expensive event, so your least frequent event. You want to start tracking like cost per registration. If a creative's doing well there, you have an early indicator like, oh, I built a good creative, I need to go get some funds, put some ad spend behind this. And then also when that cost per registration starts to come off, this creative is starting to fatigue. So there's these early indicators, but like the ones that most people look at, that most people talk about, they're shooting themselves in the foot by over indexing on those metrics.
Ah, interesting. I remember like when we were doing our cost per install at the time, like we were getting, I You know, whenever you have a good creative, you're kind of like, wow, this is lightning in the bowl
Yeah, yeah,
right
yeah,
now.
yeah.
And like, I remember at points we were getting like 50 cents per install in the US. And I was just like, what the hell?
Yeah, yeah. But what's interesting is if you're media buying well,
Mhm.
you should be destroying your cost per install.
Mm.
Because actually, like the ideal flow, like this is impossible to achieve, but
Yeah.
like the ideal flow is you you serve your ad, it meets like 10 users, those 10 users install,
Mhm.
and then those 10 users pay.
Yeah,
And you
yeah,
don't serve it to anyone else.
yeah,
So that
yeah,
means your
yeah,
cost per install is super high, your cost
yeah,
per purchase is super high. Obviously, we can never hit that,
yeah,
but like a good media buyer is actually going to optimize for those lower funnel events, which is going to jack up your cost per install, but it's going to drop your return on ad spend. And
uh,
it takes like 2 weeks for the algorithm to actually mature on that.
mature, yeah, okay, yeah.
But yeah, you need to honestly like have the stomach for it, which is like cost per install is not what we're optimizing for. So we
Mhm.
need to just accept that this is a signal, but not what we're optimizing for, and then reject it. And then
And what have you found in terms of like maybe our clients sometimes antsy? They're kind of like, okay, cool, we've given you over the ad account now. Why isn't it like 10x profitable right now itself? Like, what are normally their thoughts around that?
yeah, I mean the usually it's I think people see they see early performance, right? They're like,
Yeah,
I have this one creative and it
yeah,
has positive return on ad spend,
yeah.
and then there's this budget button in Meta. So if you 10x that, you'll 10x like the amount of revenue that comes out the other side. That obviously is not how it
Doesn't work
works.
like that at
Yeah,
all. Doesn't
turns
work
out
like
it doesn't always work like that. And
that.
like the reason for it's pretty interesting in that Meta is really and TikTok because they're basically equivalent platforms at this
Mhm,
point are really good at taking content, and this is like on the ads platform, but then also organic
mhm,
on taking a content like a piece of content and showing it to the exact people who care about it.
mhm.
And it might be that there's 10 people who like really care about it,
Yeah.
and it'll show it to those 10 people, and they'll convert really well.
Mhm.
But then the problem is it's like become very good at showing like niche content to niche people, so it'll fatigue very quickly.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah,
if you like if you do it once, like great, but to scale, you have to build a system. You have
yeah.
to, you can't just have one good creator or like one good piece of content. You have to be able to reproduce that magic over and over again and like have
Yeah.
this treadmill. And then that's how your ads get better. That's how your creator program gets better.
And what do you think about? So normally the UGC strategy is kind of like you find one hook that works and you replicate it 100 times. It's
Yeah.
so like, and everyone's kind of like, look, I've got 100 creatives. Like
Yeah.
this is so much variation.
Yeah.
What are
Yeah.
your thoughts on that?
Yeah, this is very good for organic. I think
Hmm.
it's like organic, you find a single formula,
Hmm.
you should replicate it across all your creators
Hmm.
because every time one of your creators posts it, you get more reach.
Yeah,
And you
yeah,
now have a hook that, it's like it rejects the null hypothesis. Like the null hypothesis being like, if I post an ad, it will not do better than like the average.
yeah.
But like now you have this hook where it's like every time you post it, you do better than the average.
Hmm.
And you should keep posting that, and you should make like 400 of them.
Yeah.
You do not have 400 ads. You have one ad because that duplicate the exact same format
Yeah.
doesn't really translate to the ad account. The ad account says like this is one concept.
Hmm.
It's great. Maybe that concept works,
Hmm.
but like I said earlier, you need to have a bunch of ads.
Hmm.
Your ads need diversity.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah,
if you're just like I have this, it's like I have this concept. It works. I did it 400 times. That's not 400 ads. That's one ad. So you now need to find another concept for your ad accounts. Like variations are great.
yeah, yeah.
That's incremental. Like you're not
Yeah.
going to like 10.
Honestly, I wouldn't say we fell into that trap, but it's kind of like I think we had like 15 or 20 of like the same exact kind of ad.
Yeah.
And then it was so funny, we put them all in the same ad set. And then like it was only one, I think it's specifically called ad 11. And and that was the one that basically took all the ad spend from the ad
Yeah.
set itself. And it's kind of like, okay, then what's the point of the other ones there actually
Yeah,
at the
yeah.
end of the day? So
Yeah. I mean, if they're too similar, then you basically might as well only have one.
yeah.
I think it's actually like really what people should do now is when you have that in an ad account, use Kling's I forget the exact name for it, but you can swap the creator. That is
Okay.
that is a legitimate variation
Okay.
because it's like there's like two things between like your content and who resonates with it.
Yeah.
It's the message and then the messenger.
Yeah.
And like you're gonna hit different niches with different messengers. So it's like
Okay.
you found a message that works, like have different messengers,
Uh-huh.
and that's really effective. But I think the problem that people get caught in is they assume that's going to work forever,
Yeah.
and you'll fatigue your audience. Like you need to hit them from different sides.
Interesting. And in terms of, okay, this is like more like, how would you structure your campaign ad set and
Oh
ads?
yeah,
That's also a thing I've always seen. I've seen some people find, I don't know whether it's luck or strategy, they just put everything into one ad set and
Yeah,
say,
yeah,
okay,
yeah.
vibe it. Some people maybe over optimize and try to go for the, the e-commerce way of doing certain things
Yeah.
itself. So like, where do you think is like from your data, what's kind of like the best way?
Yeah, so I'll cover for mobile apps,
Yeah.
and the easiest way, which is actually I think fine in the early days, and it's like this is how everyone should start, is just chuck it all in one ad set.
Mm-hmm.
Now here's the problem with that strategy. Meta is going to pick one, at best two, and put all the ad spend
Yeah,
behind
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
So in the early days, it's going to look awesome. You're going
Yeah.
to be like, I'm putting in 10 new creatives a week.
Yeah.
It's like my ad spend is scaling and my return on ad spend is holding. Like,
Mhm.
this is great. Uh, you've over leveraged the account with that strategy.
Mhm.
So everything's great. And until one day it's all going to collapse. And it will. Like, I've never seen it not. That being said, it's the right way to start because it's a start,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it gets things up and running. The way we run most of the accounts and the way I think you should run it is you should have one campaign that's your scaling campaign,
Okay.
one campaign that's your testing campaign, and then
Mhm.
in your scaling campaign, you should basically group by theme. And like so you have one ad set per theme. I
Mhm.
usually cap it at about 7 ads per ad set.
Okay.
That way you kind of get like the ad spend flowing.
Okay.
If you want to be hands-on, what like this like shameless plug, but like at Valid, what we do is like we have people who look at all those ad sets, say
Mhm.
these ones are working, we're gonna like push more spend there. These ones are not working, we're gonna push less spend there. That requires a lot of work.
Mhm.
If you want to do this in like kind of a automated way,
Mhm.
switch it to CBO, set an ad set minimum
Mhm.
on each ad set. So you get some spend everywhere. So there's like some diversity,
Mhm.
but then you're kind of letting Meta choose.
Mhm.
If you just do CBO without that ad set minimum, it's going to be the exact same thing as putting all your ads in one ad set and calling it a day. Then separately have a testing campaign. In that have it's like you hopefully are loading in 20 to 50 to 100 creatives depending on your budget
Mhm.
per week. You should group those into like groups of 7, again thematically, and this is super easy. Like put all your ads into Gemini, say group these by theme. The reason you're grouping them thematically is you like the targeting is done at the ad set level. So yeah, so you want like basically you want like the same ads that'll resonate with the same group of people in the same ad set. If you're like have an ad set that's gonna very clearly resonate with like women in Idaho,
Yeah.
and one ad that's going to resonate with women in LA, like
Mhm.
put those in separate ad sets.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, and then then run them. And like usually what I do is we'll say we'll structure the ad account so we'll get enough spend that each like a creative will have the potential to get 10 conversions, which
Mhm.
is enough to hit statistical significance. And then we'll basically say is like once you have hit like $200 in spend or something that's appropriate for this for like the cost per purchase, actually turn that ad off.
Mm.
So because otherwise Meta's going to keep spending against it, so it
Yeah.
goes and tests the other ones. But then kind of set it so that way if an ad is in that ad set and it's been like 4 days and it hasn't earned any spend,
Yeah.
that's actually Meta telling us it sucks. So we don't need to like spend money to like know
Yeah.
it sucks. So like that's so like basically use that to identify your winners, move them into that scaling ad set.
What if you do? So this is something we saw. I mean, I didn't end up doing anything with it, but like, so sometimes there's some ads within an ad set which don't get spend,
Yeah.
but then for example, the cost per install is like stupid low. Like, what does that actually? Because for example, like our main ad 11 specifically,
Yeah.
that one where it got basically 95% of our ad spend,
Yeah.
and then there'll be one ad which got like I don't know, maybe 1% of the ad spend, but like the cost per install was like 15 cents. What does that mean?
Yeah.
Is that a lie? I feel like it's trying to lie to me.
Yeah, I mean, it can be two things, like the optimistic,
Mhm.
the like meta truther take is Meta has detected that ad does not have potential to scale.
Yeah.
So it's not giving it spend. It's like, yeah, this works great, but it has no TAM.
Mhm.
My take is Meta has found that one ad worked. They're like, why try anything else? So they
Yeah.
just keep doubling down on that.
Mhm.
Because in Meta's mind, like you would turn off the ad if it was not ROAS positive.
Yeah.
So their incentive is not necessarily to get you the most ROAS positivity. It's like to keep you in the casino.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so you have to like actively manage it. Like if you do the broken out ad set structure,
Mhm.
you can take that ad that's not getting spend, put it in its own ad set, and say like, does this scale? Because maybe it actually
Yeah.
is better. So Meta is it's great. It's actually like one of the best technologies ever built, like their
Mhm.
ad platform, and like it's enabled so much.
Mhm.
But it's also not perfect. It's like the same way, like, just like anything, any other piece of tech, like GPT-5 is amazing, but you can't just blindly follow it. Right?
Yeah.
So same thing with Meta.
All right, cool. And then for mobile apps, what would you say, TikTok or Meta?
Oh yeah, it's a good question. This has been blurring.
Yeah.
Yeah. As an aside, last year, January on TikTok,
Mhm.
greatest time ever. Because there was the ban,
Eh,
and it kicked off. Basically, every big advertiser was scared. They all hopped off, and these ad platforms are an auction. So the
Oh
biggest guys
yeah.
hopped off. So all the CPMs plummeted.
Mhm.
Last January, like we will probably never see that again.
Yeah.
It's gone, but it's like those are the good old days. Um, yeah. But TikTok versus Meta, it's about a 50-50 split for valid clients. Which one's better?
Okay.
And like what I've seen is if your audience is young, it's almost always TikTok. If your
Mhm.
audience is old, it's always Meta.
I mean, that's on the, I guess, on the install. What about on the ROAS side? Because like,
Both,
yeah,
yeah.
because I feel like if your audience is younger, cool. More people from TikTok are going to download your app, but will they actually pay?
Yeah, yeah. For us, it's been like across the portfolio, like 50% of the apps are getting better ROAS on TikTok.
Okay,
And
okay,
yeah,
okay.
and I think it's actually uh like 2-3 years ago, we were like no one would run ads on TikTok if they wanted to optimize for ROAS
Yeah,
because it's like the tail was you run on TikTok as a bunch of kids,
yeah.
they can't afford anything.
Mm-hmm.
Kids have grown up. Like
You're
that's
right.
yeah, like they are 20-year-olds who are now 23-year-olds
Yeah,
with jobs. Like it's still not the same level of purchasing power as Instagram,
yeah,
but like the distribution cost is lower. It is like the better place to target like 18-year-olds who have like a little bit of money, like 22-year-olds who have more.
hmm
The like kind of like year over year, we're seeing TikTok get better, and I think it's because like their user base is naturally aging up.
yeah. Aging up.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. And in terms of sorry, I'm so interested in this just
yeah,
because we've run the ads before.
yeah.
Placements.
Oh yeah,
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 yeah. And so I want to it's like a dual conversation. So like I think there's placement. This is which one should you tick, which one should you not tick?
yeah.
And then number two, Meta's stupid advanced thing that they keep trying
Oh,
to
the audience
yeah,
network.
they're trying to force everyone
Yeah, yeah,
into
yeah.
like this advantage plus.
Oh, man,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
that's
Okay.
it.
Yeah. Do you want to start TikTok or
Yeah,
Meta?
yeah, yeah. Let's start with Meta. I hate Meta. Yeah, let's
Okay, yeah.
start.
So Meta, the first thing, if you're a mobile app, go into your ad. There's a checkbox that says audience network. Uncheck it. That is wasted ad spend. It's checked by default. Like, please uncheck it. Yeah, okay, now on to the other things. I see it's not stories, reels
Mhm.
as the primary placement
Okay.
that does really well.
Mhm.
Um, I think people are still trying to force statics
Mhm.
into Instagram, and it's pretty rare that it works. I think when your account is really, really mature, like you're spending over 500K, then I think statics should be a core part of your play.
Mhm.
The reason I think people keep forcing statics is that's an ecom play, and it,
Mhm.
it still works great for ecom.
Yeah.
I have like almost never seen it work for a mobile app,
Yeah.
or beat out a piece of UGC content. And like because UGC content is what's dominating for mobile apps, and like the
Mhm.
format's pretty clear, right? It's you need an engaging hook, you need to give the user a reason to watch, and then the hero is your app. And then you don't necessarily plug the app like it's like, oh my god, I downloaded Prey Screen and now I feel great. Like download
Yeah.
that doesn't work. It's it's like I felt it's like the format would be like I reconnected with God,
Mhm.
and it's because and then like you kind of like talk about the great things, and then you're like it's like and it's all because of this app or
Yeah,
something like
yeah,
that, and like
yeah.
that's how you would plug the app. But that story that works really well for mobile apps comes across on Reels.
Mhm.
It doesn't really come across on stories where you're just quickly tapping through.
Exactly, yeah.
Like the feed, I think just has like lower traffic,
Okay.
um, and people are on the feed. It's more like photos than
Mhm.
videos. So for mobile apps, because you kind of need to like tell the story and
Mhm.
show the use case more so with like ecom. I think like there's like ecom like it's more visually interesting. It's a
Yeah.
product. There's a clear thing with a mobile app. Like you have to show a use case. So that's why I
Yeah.
think you need the video.
Ah, so real because I know there's 24 also 24 26 ad placements
Yeah,
you can do. I normally do six, which is Instagram Reels and
Facebook
Facebook
Reels. Yeah,
Reels.
Facebook Reels are great.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and then Instagram, I think feed and
yeah,
Facebook feed, and then do stories.
yeah,
Normally the six that I do. So like you're basically saying the best thing someone should actually try if it's mobile apps
yeah.
is just two, which is Instagram Reels and Facebook Reels.
Well, so if you're just getting started, I would
Yeah.
actually turn it over to Meta, and then
Okay.
Meta will naturally push it to Instagram Reels.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
The key thing there is if you must upload 9:16 aspect ratios.
Yeah. Yeah.
If
Yeah.
you're uploading one by ones, it's going to push you to the feed and to the other
Uh,
placements because it will kind of push you based on the aspect ratios that you
yeah. Yeah.
upload.
Yeah.
Ideally, you should actually upload multiple aspect ratios.
Mhm.
Like I would do a 9:16, a 1:1, a 4:5,
Mhm.
and then on the feed push the 1:1 on reels and stories, push the 9:16,
Mhm.
and then there's like a couple placements you use the 4:5. I forget off the top of my head,
Mhm.
but like that way, whatever placement you're on, you're kind of like if you're bidding, you're also putting together you're putting forward your best work.
Mhm.
Um, I like definitely turn off audience network. But honestly, I would let Meta choose,
Mhm.
and it should like if it's not putting 80% of your spend towards Reels,
Mhm.
you probably have a creative problem.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, one thing you can do is you can use value rules and actually say, uh, so actually on Meta Ads Manager, there's a toggle for breakdowns,
Okay. Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
you can see like your basically your ad performance by placement,
Mhm.
and then you can actually see like, am I getting a better CPI on Reels or Feed or all
Mm.
these things, and then you can go through into the value rules and say like, I'm willing to, it's like you can say like someone who comes to me from Reels is 3x more valuable than someone who comes from
Okay. Yeah.
feeds. You can do that. I would put that in like advanced mode. Like
Mhm.
do that after you're at 100K per month of ad
Yeah.
spend,
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
before. Um, but yeah, I think I've generally found Meta's algorithm to be pretty solid at
Okay,
placements.
cool. And do you think that sometimes a lot of people like over optimize?
Yeah.
I've spoken to some founders where it's kind of like, okay, I've looked at my breakdown. Like a lot of my spend is going towards like 18 to 24-year-olds. So I'm now going to go to my meta ad set and then change it to only 18 to
Yeah.
24-year-olds itself. Yeah, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah. We call this choking the ad account. You basically, anytime you turn on an optimization within Meta, you're going to crank up what's called your CPM.
Mhm.
So that's like the cost to get 1,000 impressions on
Mhm.
your ad. So there's Meta will basically have like a blanket cost per, a CPM for any type of ad you want to run. So let's say you're going to run a mobile app install campaign that has a CPM. You're going to run a mobile app purchase campaign that has a slightly higher CPM.
Mhm.
The reason for that is Meta's basically said like they've grouped the audience and they've said like across everyone who's ever installed an app from Meta, we're going to put them in this group.
Mhm.
Everyone who's ever installed an app and made a purchase, we're going to put them in this group.
Mhm.
So if you say like I'm going to run an ad campaign that's like a purchase campaign, you're going to pay more to show it to those people, but you're also showing it to people who pay.
Mhm.
Now, that applies like across the board. So if you put a placement restriction, if you put a age targeting restriction, Meta's basically saying like, okay, that's fine, but it's going to be more expensive.
Yeah.
And if you do the trade-off, like sometimes it's worth it. Like
Mhm.
the purchase campaign CPM trade-off, almost always worth it once you collect enough data. So you have to stomach 2 weeks of that.
Yeah.
The 25 plus one, or like saying not 25 plus, but like 18 to 24, for example, like
Mhm.
most of my users are there. If you hard target, it's like do the trade-off. Sometimes it's worth it.
Mhm.
Most of the time it's not. But if those are your users, use your creative to target. Like your creative should resonate and like
Yeah.
naturally flips the spend.
Of course. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that makes a lot of sense actually.
Yeah. I have a question for you on creator payments. How do you handle it when a creator makes a piece of content for organic?
Uh-huh.
They like the agreement is to pay them on views,
Yes.
and the client now wants to run it as a paid ad.
Yeah. So like what we've actually seen, I think when we talk about creators, there's two types. I would say there's the influencer side and there's the UGC side. UGC side tends to be like the cheaper side, which tends to be someone who's not a professional content creator, and a lot of the time sign up the rights to the IP
Hmm.
of the video, and it's kind of like as long as I'm paid on views, that's kind of like the key thing. What we have is that when it's now put on organic,
Hmm.
we track it until it becomes a paid ad, which the brand has to basically tell us, or the company has to tell us, okay, we're going to start running ads on this, because obviously you don't want to be paying for the views from the
Yeah.
paid ads through there. And mostly what companies actually do is that they say, okay, cool, run this UGC campaign for us. We're going to pay this creator based, I don't know, $2 per 1,000 views, but we're only going to pay for the first 7 days of views once it's posted. itself. So therefore, anything after 7 days,
Mm,
they don't have to pay for anyways itself. So to kind of like 7 days is like the waiting period for them before they actually then do the ads through that. So that's what we've seen.
that's super interesting. Um, I mean, a related question there. One of the things that we've seen is a lot of apps are like, are you familiar with ghost posting?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's pretty valuable for a even like a small creator
Mm-hmm.
to like almost like license their ad account.
Yeah.
How would you handle payments for that? Because now you're like, is it just like a flat rate of like, it's like, oh, you got to use my account for X number of days or super
Yeah,
constant?
I think that's interesting. Like we haven't had like a client user creator for that specifically at this point. But I think yeah, that's a definitely interesting because like we always find new ways of how different clients are paying people or how they're structuring the ad side of things.
Yeah.
For example, like we had a client recently that was kind of like, oh, we pay a creator, like basically a creator has both a TikTok account and an Instagram account, and we pay. It's like an either or statement. It's kind of like, okay, the views has to get to at least 1,000 views on either one of the accounts for the creator to earn X amount. And I'm just like, huh?
Yeah. These contracts get so complex.
And I'm just like, huh? Then after I just suggested to them, I was like, oh, why don't you just do this instead? And they're like, oh, okay, cool, let's just do that.
Yeah.
So I think it's another thing is like we also see on the company side is like something they also choke out. This is the same way
Yeah.
people over optimize is that sometimes they also choke out like the creator side of things, and they're trying to be like every creative needs to be good. I need to get an ROI on every creative,
Oh, yeah.
and that's just not how the game works, right?
Yeah.
It's gonna like you're gonna put out 100 pieces of content, and maybe 3 or 4 are gonna do really well, but they're gonna do so well that the when you do then put ad spend on it, it pays back like 100 times more for all the spend
Yeah.
for the creator. That's kind of like how it kind of like works.
Yeah. Yeah, actually along those lines, like I think when people make that same mistake with creative analysis,
Mm.
where they're like, I made 100 ads, I need to learn from all 100 ads. It's like honestly what they should think about it as a VC.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. I was thinking that just now.
yeah, it's like it's like, yeah, you have 100 portfolio companies, 4 are gonna do really well.
Mhm.
We want to just replicate those 4
Yeah,
and not the 100 in aggregate. And it's like there's gonna be elements of those 4 that like that exist in the failures, but
Mhm.
that's fine because it's like we're just trying to recreate those 4
Mhm.
over and over again. And it's I actually we do this at Valid, but we kind of lightly look at the failures to
Mhm.
say, okay, what do we not do?
Mhm.
But really, we just look at the winners. We're like, okay, what worked about that? Let's try and
Yeah.
let's try and capture that magic, because we're not trying to make another like 50th percentile creative. Like we just want to live in
Exactly.
that top spot.
And like touching on that creative side of it, or the creative analysis, what can app founders do when again, because obviously they're speaking to UGC creators.
Yeah.
It's either they're speaking to UGC creators or they're trying to create AI creatives themselves. What can they like? Have you seen any like benchmarks in terms of or how videos generally should be? Like, what are the do's and what are the don'ts? Because
Yeah.
sometimes like some videos just kick off and you're like, oh
Yeah.
crap, okay, I
Yeah.
didn't know that was gonna do well.
Yeah, do like text overlay. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's the easiest one. Like
Mm-hmm.
basically give the viewer in the first second context, like what is going on in this
Mm-hmm.
video. The other one, like everyone knows the hook is the most important thing, but the hook has 2 jobs. One, it needs to get you to stop the scroll,
Mm-hmm.
and 2, the second job is more important. It needs to give you a reason to watch to the end.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like and the kind of the like the 2007 version of this is like 10 reasons you might die in the subway. Number 8 is crazy.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's effective.
Yeah.
We've all fallen for that. So
And then number 8 is never crazy.
yeah,
Number 8 is never crazy.
yeah. But you just say it in the hook. And so that's like do that before you kind of like do anything else. Then other one is cuts. It needs to be like really visually engaging. The amount of content I've seen that's like the camera is up there and it's like, oh my god, like this is so hard. I kind of did this and now I'm using this app.
Mm-hmm.
It's so boring.
Yeah.
Like have multiple camera angles, have a bunch of cuts, and like even if your influencer, your creator gives you just a single shot, that's actually fine.
Uh-huh.
But edit it, right?
Yeah,
Like it's like
yeah.
one, you can have jump cuts added in there. You can use Descript to do this pretty easily. You should cut in like pieces of your app as well.
Yeah.
I think it's actually this is maybe where I'd actually be really curious to see if anyone's like done a study on this, but this is potentially where organic and ads drift.
Mm-hmm.
Is on organic, I think you want to feel really organic. And
Yeah.
I think on ads, people take that a little too far,
Mm-hmm.
because you the user's going to realize it's an ad. Like you're trying to get them to click on
Yeah,
on the
it's literally
thing.
an ad, yeah.
Yeah. So it's like you want it to feel organic enough that they don't immediately be like, ad, move on.
Yeah.
But after that, you're introing the company. So
Mhm.
having some polish, showing that like this video isn't just like, like grungy or put up
Yeah.
is valuable. So having some good editing and things like that, it's like, okay, cool. Like they built this, they told me a clear story, and then you enter the app, and having like that cohesive experience is good. But yeah, so on ads, like don't just be like lazy and like
Mhm.
just say it's like, it's like the kind of typical college try is I'm
Mhm.
gonna put out 500 videos. So it's like gonna have like send it to like a bunch of influencers. They all record, and then like now I have 500 videos. Like I have 500 shots on goal. Like
Mhm.
no. Like you're better off having 10 good shots on goal than 500
Yeah, yeah,
lazy
yeah.
shots on goal.
Yeah, and just the time spent as well is just it's something that you can't get back. Something you mentioned, which is around the difference between or how organic and paid kind of like separate,
Yeah.
is very interesting because I speak to a lot of app founders, and when they're running ads, right? And they'll be like, "Oh, but this content doesn't show my app enough itself," and I'm just like, "Bro, it's literally an ad." So like the user or the person who's scrolling, it's not that they're not aware it's an ad. It literally will say install app and everything.
Yeah.
Everybody knows it's an ad. Like you've said, like the hook is meant to kind of help them be like, okay, cool, this is kind of actually interesting. So when a user clicks on literally the download button, it's not like they're not aware what's going to happen. Like at the end of the day.
Yeah, he didn't trick him.
Exactly. Yeah, it's literally an ad. So that's why I always tell people like, hey, sometimes the ad may not show your app a lot, but if it really hooks people in, generally, it's good for ads, right? And but
Yeah.
it may not be good for organic itself because
Yeah.
on organic side, there's no install button for them to click and then actually convert.
Yeah, and you can't buy the traffic, which
Yeah,
is
yeah, 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 yeah.
as you're doing with the ads.
Exactly, exactly. Okay, cool. So I guess final question I have for you: December 31st, 2020 was 2026 now,
Yeah,
and you look back and you're kind of like, okay, cool. It's been a great year
yeah.
that you guys have had valid. What would that look like for you?
It's a
No,
good
no, no,
question.
no, not a good year.
Yeah,
Great, great year.
yeah. I mean, on what axis? Just like anything.
I think.
Yeah. I would love if so. What I think is like most exciting about what we're doing is we're doing media buying.
Mhm.
We're learning a lot from there. We like are really meticulous about how we buy and how we think about the ad account. We're pulling insights for like what works, what doesn't work, and we're also doing creative. I want to like fully close that loop.
Mm.
We're in the process of that right now. So I would say that's like a good year
Mhm.
if we're Valid is able to basically like set up like what is almost like an autonomous agent that has context to your brand and is able to see the ad account, see what's working, come up with a new ad, and put it in.
Mhm.
What would make it a great year for Valid is we're actually started this. It's very very early. We called it Valid Studios,
Mhm.
where we're trying to make these like Super Bowl level ads
Mhm.
in a week,
Mhm.
and I think that the best Super Bowl ads will actually take learnings from the ad account. So you'll kind of figure out what do people care about. You make the first 10 seconds of the ad, but
Mhm.
20 times. Run that,
Mhm.
learn what angles are working, what messaging is working, and then just keep iterating. So it'd
Mhm.
make it like a great year for Valid is if we're able to land that, where we're able to make these Super Bowl ads that are fully AI generated. I don't want to own a camera,
Yeah.
at least for production purposes. But I want to be able to make these ads that are almost like derived, not
Yes.
just like not that are not like obviously we have to have creativity and we have like we're tech enabled services because you need people in the loop for that. But there's this amazing data source out there in like on influencers in the ad accounts, and I want to use that to derive what like a Super Bowl ad should look like. That so when when you put $5 million of ad spend behind it, you're not kind of crossing your fingers. You're
Yeah.
like, I know this works. It's like this is the 50th version of this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. That is so sick. I never thought about it from like I guess that kind of high quality, big production,
Yeah.
kind of aspect and being able to derive learnings from again UGC content or the short form content or the ad content,
Yeah.
for that. But that's pretty sick.
Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of crazy if you look at how expensive it is to shoot an ad. It's the
Yeah.
time cost. It's Yeah, it's incredible. Like there's like you pass to 4 people just to do the sound design. Um, uh, yeah,
It's insane.
yeah. Let me turn it back to turn that same question to you. What would make this a great year?
Yeah, I mean, for us, like we've like pivoted a bunch, but we found something that's working. So of course, like I mean, even our name before was Freighter Jack. Before now we're called Grade. Sounds way more sleek. Um, I think for us, a goal. We're currently in YC. We definitely have a kind of number that we want to get to in terms of volume by the demo day. So I think that that'd be cool for us. So I think that's like the next 60 days goal. I think for the year. I definitely want to expand towards like other things outside of creator things,
Yeah,
because what we found actually in our data, so is like a lot of companies who are using us to pay creators based on performance are actually using us to also just pay contractors based on like random things itself. So what we actually found is like our ICP is actually a company who is paying hundreds of people, or let's say many people, who are not necessarily US based everywhere in the world, and they don't want to use PayPal or Pioneer or all the other tools or whatever it is. All they just need is their email itself,
yeah,
and then we can just do the payouts for them on their behalf. So I'd definitely like to explore those kind of places. Like one of them
yeah,
that's super interesting to us right now is like data labeling for
yeah,
like
yeah,
robotics companies, just because like they need human beings to do the reinforcement learning and be like, okay, cool, this is a phone, this is a table, and those people get paid based on how many of those data labeling that they do itself. And it's still very manual. Sometimes I have to do PayPal. Someone has to then email someone else who's in procurement to be able to get a payment of $30, for example, while we can
yeah.
just do the batch payments.
Yeah, I'm so bullish. Like and like prior to working with you guys, like our payments just suck. It's literally the reason why we went into AI creators because the payments is so difficult. Like I cannot tell you how many W-9s I'm dealing with right now from last year for your product. So I'm incredibly bullish. Yeah, it's
Cool, man.
everyone should be like using this tool to pay their creators because this is the most annoying pain point.
For sure, man. Cool. So I appreciate you coming today.
Of course,
It's
thanks.
been great.